Future Talk.
This is Future Talk
with Omnial Saleh and Hani Balkis.
Happy Monday, everyone. Hope you're all having a blessed afternoon and excited to find out the latest tech headlines that have been hitting the industry. You're listening to Future Talk. This is the one and only place where we give you a quick roundup of all the tech news. And coming up on today's show, we have lots happening right here in the UAE as we talk about the UAE Cybersecurity Council. They're actually launching a very, very exciting program for all those who are what we would call the good hackers, the white hat hackers. There's a national bug bounty program where if you're a white hat hacker, you may just be gaining lots of money. Coming up on today's show as well, we've been talking about cyber crimes and scams a lot this past week, and we are going to be talking about yet another one because if you've received emails about exciting and very luring special offers, you may want to take a second to read those emails back once again because there could potentially be one scam digged right in there. In the world of weird tech, today's weird tech is also located right here in the UAE because we're going to be talking about Masdar collaborating with a company in the United States where they're basically planning to turn all of the desert air into water. And we have lots of desert, lots of air that's filled with humidity, so why not make the most out of it? In the world of gadgets, Facebook is actually making headlines because they're going to soon be launching Ray-Bans that are augmented reality glasses. I'm just hoping that these glasses don't look as weird as what Facebook tried to do a couple of years ago. Also, speaking of world weird tech, we're going to be talking about the Emirati student that was able to invent a boat that can clean the shores and the beaches right here in the UAE. Lots and lots is in store right here on the show.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
Your quick roundup of everything that is happening in the tech world in the UAE and all around the world. This story is going to be a big like, or it's going to get a big like from all white hat hackers out there because the UAE National Cybersecurity Council launched a new program that is called the National Bug Bounty Program. So all those who love to find basically the gaps in programs and softwares, all the security loops that could potentially get us users in a lot of damage, white hat hackers can basically gain money for giving those bugs and loops out. So the UAE is trying to reinforce their global competitiveness indexes, and this is going to help engage a lot of community members and a lot of people who want to protect other residents online. So this program was actually launched in collaboration between Etisalat and Emirates Integrated Telecommunications Company DO. And they're all coordinating under the regulations of the Telecommunication and Digital Government Regulatory Authority. So basically the initiative is going to be trying to promote the culture of cybersecurity. They're going to be protecting the digital transformation of the UAE as we've seen it basically kind of dive deeper into 5G, dive deeper into the Internet of Things. Just a few days ago, or actually last week, we were talking about Etisalat actually partnering with the digital key system Yale to bring keyless not doorbells, but house doors to us Emirati residents and citizens. So this is definitely going in line with all these different achievements and initiatives, and soon enough, they're going to be allowing residents right here in the UAE to basically list themselves if they are security researchers and gain some money for it. So if you go ahead and penetrate a certain system, basically identify any vulnerabilities, let's say it could be an entity as big as Dubai Police or Sharjah Police, or as small as, let's say, a company, Etisalat, DO, any small scale company. If you can go ahead and basically find all the bugs, all the vulnerabilities in those applications or the website or the system, if you can find any exploitations that could potentially get us users into a lot of damage online, then you will have a monetary reward. They'll pay you some money if you can go ahead and identify these bugs and report it to them. So it's going to be a great way for us to kind of tie the line between white hat hackers and us residents, since this will help protect all of us online. They're very excited to help attract a lot of local talent as well as worldwide talent so that they can go ahead and basically start testing and adopting the best international practices, procedures that could potentially help protect us against cyber attacks and cyber attackers. In addition to this program, they're also going to be working to improve the level of cybersecurity in the country. So we're soon going to be hearing about a lot of different initiatives, different programs that will help protect us better online, especially because scams have been on the rise right here in the UAE ever since the COVID-19 pandemic became a part of our lives. What I want to hear from all of you is if you've heard of white hat hackers. I personally came across a very exciting white hat hacker who was able to identify vulnerabilities in the system of Dubai police, and he was rewarded a lot of money for it. So not all hackers are bad. Some of them are basically bad, but for a good reason. So let me know what your thoughts are about this story. Text us in at 4215 do it a lot or slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio. Coming up, we're going to be talking about why you should basically not be too excited if you've received an email about a special offer, because it could just be a big trap that will get you into a scam. If you want to find out more about it, keep Pulse 95 locked and we'll be right back.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
If you love receiving emails about special offers, big discounts from your favorite stores, you may just want to basically hold down your horses because hackers have been making the most out of these amazing emails. And if you're living right here in the UAE, you know that summertime tends to be a big hit for a lot of stores. They would offer us a lot of discounts, special offers, buy two, get one, buy one, get one, and you can save up a lot of money, especially when you're trying to buy gifts before holidays to give to your loved ones. But now you're going to have to basically keep a very wide eye open because you could potentially be receiving a special offer that will render your email, basically lock you out of your own email. Now, subscribing to shopping sites, a lot of cybersecurity experts do advise us to create a separate email account where we can list and have all of the subscriptions, registering to your favorite websites. All the emails would go to there instead of coming to your own personal email. But regardless of what email you're subscribed to, the expectation of receiving those deals could help you save a lot of money, but at the same time, they could have you fall down a very deep hole of not being able to get back your email account. So businesses and us residents, we have to be very aware, especially when it comes to holiday emails, whether it was cheaper airline tickets, better discounts. All of these could be a very big lure for us residents. Now, hackers have been using a lot of social engineering techniques, one of them being email phishing, to try and mimic holiday retail offers. So you'd receive an email, let's say from Emirates Airline, Air Arabia, telling you that you've won the golden ticket to go to your home country, to go to any country of choice, or you've received a discount on an airline ticket. So as a resident who wants to save some money, you'll go ahead and click on that link to be able to get your ticket. Once you click on that link, you'll basically be redirected to a malware-infected link, and you'll put in all of your sensitive information. It may look legitimate, it may not, but nonetheless, a lot of people kind of close their eyes and just type in those information. So once you do that, all it takes is one click, and that person, that hacker or that company has all of your sensitive information, all of your bank card details, and in that case, you're not going to be saving a couple of dirhams or a couple of hundred dirhams. You'll basically be losing all of your bank account. So organizations that have to do with cybersecurity and a lot of cybersecurity teams have been kind of giving us some tips and tricks on how we can pinpoint which websites are legitimate and which websites are not. Some of the most basic details is to check the spelling. If a certain website has a bad spelling or grammatical mistakes, then you should know that this website is not legitimate. Sometimes they can be as accurate as could be. They'll list out some numbers for reference that you could call, but when you try to call one of those numbers, the call will not be answered, or it will just be a cell phone number rather than a landline. So a lot of people have actually been advising us, a lot of cybersecurity experts have been advising us to pay good attention to the website that we're clicking on, but also to regularly update all of our software, all of our operating systems, and have some form of antivirus on our computer. So once you go ahead and you update your software on your computer, then your computer is more equipped to fight that specific bug or that malware that will be installed on your computer if you happen to click on a bad link. Another important tip that you could basically make the most out of is to make a written copy of the emergency contact details for your bank, your card issuer, or insurance company. Basically have an action plan in place. So even if you lose your payment card or your phone credit card details get stolen, you still have a quick way out, because when your information is compromised, every second is money, and you have the chance to basically disable that card within a few seconds. But if you don't do it fast enough, then that person could basically do a quick transaction and you'll keep losing money. A lot of cybersecurity experts have also advised us to basically learn about our bank providers' account lock features. So every bank, every card issuer can have a quick lock option where you can freeze or unfreeze access to your account or payment card within seconds. So based on what bank provider you have, make sure you learn a little bit more about that so that if, God forbid, a disaster were to happen, you are well equipped to deal with it. Make sure you turn on two-factor authentication wherever you can. So two-factor authentication, for those of you who don't know, is basically your one-time login code. That could be an OTP where if you make a purchase online, they'll send it to you and you'll have to enter it. It'll be like a little PIN number that will come to your phone as a text message. You'll enter it to be able to complete that purchase. So in the case that your card is taken over by a hacker, he doesn't have access to your cell phone number unless you also enter that. So they can't find out that OTP, hence that transaction cannot be completed. These are all a few tips and tricks that we have heard in the past and recently from technical experts at big cybersecurity companies, whether it was Kaspersky or any other ones, and they have come in handy for a lot of people. So just let me know, what tip did you like the most and do you follow the most? Most important of them all is don't use the same password to all your website, because that could be the recipe for a disaster. Coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking about weird tech, because there is a company right here in the UAE that is collaborating with another one in the United States, planning to turn all of the desert air into water. How could that become a reality? Gotta keep Pulse 95 locked to find out about it.
Check this out. Check this out. Pulse 95.
Turning air into water sounds like basically a trip back in memory lane into science class when we were talking about condensation, evaporation, how air could be turned easily into water. But a few inventors decided to bring that to a much larger scale, and we have it happening right here in the UAE, because a US-based technology company is actually sourcing water from the desert by extracting all the moisture in that air using clean energy at Abu Dhabi's Masdar city. And this is all part of the UAE's effort to try and create more clean water in a much more sustainable way than the different ways that we've been seeing. The company is named Aquavome, and they're basically going to be producing commercial volumes of uninterrupted water. They're going to be using solar and thermal energy in a pilot project that is run by the company. They are partnering with Masdar and the Khalifa University of Science and Technology, and they're going to be basically researching it for a very long time. They've been researching it for a very long time, but now they're bringing that technology to life, which is going to basically be protecting and guaranteeing a very constant and secure source of water. That's going to be the most important thing. Basically having it be constant, not choppy, not one day it works, one day it doesn't. This project could also basically become an example for other countries to have climate become a lot easier to maintain. We're going to be hopefully putting an end for climate change, but also, or at least reducing its effect, but also still producing a lot of clean water in a very sustainable way, and potentially also improve food security. The UAE, alongside many other Gulf economies, have been relying heavily on the desalination of water to give us water that we can easily drink, potable water. But trying to supplement basically desalination with turning air into water could also help condense the amount of water bottles that we use, because now, once this condensation and evaporation process happens, they can be placed in big gallons. These gallons are more reusable, so in one home, you could have basically a constant source of water in, let's say, a cooler format, rather than relying on plastic water bottles that you're going to keep getting over and over again. It's also going to be helping us move towards that green lifestyle that we're all looking at, and also giving us a lot cheaper water, because for those of you who don't know, trying to extract clean water from the air could basically help reduce the price of water dramatically, because instead of a water bottle now costing you about 1 dirham or 2 dirhams, you're going to have a 500 milliliter of water, or even 1 liter, costs you about half that price. So half a dirham, 0.5 fils. And this technology is also a lot more sustainable in terms of electricity, because it could rely on solar power right here in the UAE. And we have lots of sun, so why not make the most out of it by trying to extract all that sunlight and use it to help function all these different machines. Let me know what your thoughts are about this story. Our text lines are open, 4215 Durit Salat, or send into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio. Would you be willing to basically drink water that is coming right out of the air? I mean, we do drink salty water that's been desalinated, so I personally would not mind. The question is, would you? Coming up on the show, we're also going to be talking about Facebook launching Ray-Ban augmented reality glasses. And that's not according to a leak, that's according to the man himself, Mark Zuckerberg.
Gadget of the day.
New tech you might want to play with.
Pulse 95.
Whenever we talk about augmented reality glasses, a lot of the times they are basically leaks. They're not confirmed statements. They're basically what a lot of app analysts and researchers who basically look around and dive deeper into what certain companies, whether it was social media companies or big tech giants, are planning to do and release in the next couple of months, years, you name it. So they're basically all predictions. But today's story, it's not a prediction. It's very different. It's a statement coming from Mark Zuckerberg about Facebook, because he stated that they are planning to launch new Ray-Ban augmented reality glasses. So this is going to be the next big thing out there on the market when we talk about smart glasses, because with smart glasses, the past few ones that we've seen, one of the biggest ones being what Snapchat released, which are the spectacles. They were good. They made some money for some time. Some people purchased them, some people used them, but they still had a very, I have to say, they had a very weird look. They weren't very comfortable when you wore them. You couldn't wear them for long periods of time. They were basically like a fun pair of glasses that you'd put on and you'd put off. But the new glasses that Mark Zuckerberg has in mind for Facebook, he says that they're going to have a very iconic style and will allow us to do pretty neat things. This is all according to Mark Zuckerberg. And he said he's very excited to get these into people's hands and continue to make progress when it comes to integrating augmented reality in our day-to-day life. He didn't go into further details about what these neat things that we could do with the smart glasses would be, but a lot of reports that have been published in the past few months do basically point out that these glasses would allow us to immerse our tech world with our real world. And that is basically the definition of augmented reality. You can basically portray whatever it is that you see in, let's say, a game or a movie into the real world. You'll feel like you're inside the game you're playing or the movie that you're watching. Now, back in 2019, some information was actually launched in terms of Facebook launching augmented reality glasses that did say these glasses would allow us as users to take calls. They would show information in a small display. They'd allow us to even live stream our perspective to others on social media, which I think would be the coolest feature with Facebook and Instagram. Instead of seeing someone's face, you could see what they see or the way they see the world through their eyes. This is going to be a very similar manner to Snapchat's Spectacles, but nonetheless, it's a great thing to have on such big social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook. Facebook did deny rumors that these augmented reality glasses would have an integrated display, basically making it a full-on augmented reality product. They said that they're trying to move into new hardware, specifically virtual reality and augmented reality would be more towards the Oculus product that a lot of people have been a big fan of. But they want to keep the Ray-Ban augmented reality glasses a little bit simpler so that a lot of people would be interested in them rather than just have gamers be a big fan of them. Mark Zuckerberg also described these new glasses as the embodied internet, which basically means that they could become an alternative to smartphones. Mobile phones kind of came around at the same time as Facebook. So when we look at it, there could be a big role for Facebook in shaping the development of augmented reality and the way we use it and the way we view it. Let me know what your thoughts are. Have you seen Snapchat's Spectacles when they were hype back then? And are you excited for these new Ray-Ban augmented reality glasses? Coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking about the Emirati student that invented a boat that can clean beaches. Shamsa Naqbi has been making headlines, and we're going to be telling you all about her brand new invention.
Check this out. Check this out. Oh, 95.
Check this out it's got to be my favorite segment because we always talk about the weirdest tech out there in the market. But today's story is coming right here from the UAE because an Emirati student who is only in 9th grade has created a phenomenal invention that will help keep the shores of the UAE basically spotless and very clean. One of those saddest sights is when you go to the beach, you're excited to relax, maybe you'll get your tan on, just basically have a good time, enjoy the view, enjoy the blue waters. You'll look to the shore and there's so much garbage, lots of pollution that is making such a pretty view be polluted, to say the least. It's so sad to see. And a lot of the times they always say, leave the place better than what you found it. A lot of people go to the beach, they have a good time, yet they leave their garbage, they leave whatever it is that they ate, that they drank behind. And that causes lots of pollution in our own shores. But Shamsa and Naqbi decided to put an end towards this issue by creating this new boat that could potentially automatically clean shores, and it can be controlled from the shore. So this boat actually functions by using air propellers. These propellers kind of move the boat and they function just like a normal fan would. So the boat is moving similar to how a fan works, this with the same kind of technology. The boat also has a sensitive sensor and a camera that can locate any garbage on the shore, whether it was wood pieces, paper, plastic, anything, you name it, it can go ahead and point it out within a few seconds. The sensors basically give the boat the instructions on where to move and how to find those left or the belongings of people, the things that they leave behind. The boat will be able to pick it up and throw it into a small garbage bin that is located within the boat itself. Once the garbage bin is filled and it's full to the brim, then it's going to be basically sending an instruction to the boat to go ahead to the nearest checkpoint or pickup point for the boat, where the person who's controlling the boat can go ahead and basically get rid of all of the garbage and the waste within its garbage bin. What's interesting about it is that it's also able to move far distances. So you're not going to be worried about losing control over the boat. The connection will still be just as strong, whether it was in the middle of the ocean or back. It also has many cameras located around it, so you can always kind of monitor the surroundings of the boat and find out if you need to pick up any of the trash. Another interesting aspect about this boat is it could either function autonomously without any driver, or you can have someone controlling it from the shore. So this also gives municipality workers kind of a chance to lessen the load on their shoulders and just control the boat instead of having to do the job themselves. Now the boat can actually go forward and backwards by using that fan-like motion, and it can even walk in circular motions, back, forth, you name it. It can function just like a normal boat. The only difference is it was built by the hands of a ninth grader. It also functions by using solar power, so it's very sustainable in terms of energy. And if we're talking about winter time and you want to implement this boat at a time or in a country where sun is not as available, then you can even use it with battery power. This invention is still at its beginning stages, and for a ninth grader to be able to create it, it's a phenomenal basically innovation. Yet at the same time, we need to keep in mind that although we have tech, although we have different gadgets and machines that are cleaning up our oceans, cleaning up our shores, it is still our responsibility to keep this free yet beautiful gift that we've been given clean. Just like you wouldn't basically mess up your friend's house, you wouldn't throw garbage in your own friend's house, make sure that you also keep the shores, the gardens that you go to, any public environment, any public place, just as clean as you found it or even cleaner. Let me know what your thoughts are about this exciting invention, and have you visited the shore recently, and have you seen any garbage or waste left behind by other people? And have you had the chance to pick up a few? Because even though it is not our garbage to throw, it's always better to keep the place as clean as possible. Future Talk is coming to an end, but it's been such an amazing hour with all of you, and our shows on Pulse 95 will keep you company throughout the day. Coming up is the halftime show, the only place to be at 3 with Ahmed Al-Douri. He's going to be giving you a quick roundup of all things happening in the world of sports, physical health, as well as our own mental health. It's a show that you don't want to miss out on. And right after then, if you're a big fan of pop culture, Aisha Al-Mazmi and Makil Ati will be joining you to give you all things trending pop culture on their amazing show, Afternoon Karak. You can catch me again, same time, same place tomorrow from 2 to 3 p.m. only here on Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.